live right here on Periscope. We also are live at the Lonestar Sports Network right now, right here in Alamo City in San Antonio, Texas. About to get it all going right here. Our first guest today is got Snoop Johnson here with us, our co-host, and we're going to be having head coach Will Wade from LSU. He's going to be putting things in and visiting, talking about his first year in the SEC out of Baton Rouge, Texas. Hey, here we are at the Lonestar Sports Show right now, live, right here at Leapin right here, 300 block of Commerce, West Commerce, in San Antonio, live. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, Under Your Money, giving it to you down here live at the Lonestar Sports Show in San Antonio, Texas, at the Final Four. Alamo City, Coach, what do you think about it?
Oh, it's already rocking, Coach. It's already rocking here in San Antonio. It started last night, and everything's popping down here in San Antonio. The coaches are in, and we got the AAU coaches, we got the high school coaches, and weather started out rocky on us last night at the NCAA.
Yeah, sun is shining day though, Coach.
Boy, it was coming down last night.
Well, last night, Coach, it was ankle deep.
I didn't know if the Uber driver could see us in front of me.
Hey, they called it a float. Last night we had a chance to go over to the NCAA enforcement and scouting certification deal. They did a beautiful job there with that group, the enforcement group out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Giving it to us like it is.
They got a birthday party walked in.
Birthday party walked in. Oh, dear. Doing it like it is. This is the 5th annual Final Four Texas Boys Basketball Client Appreciation Mixer right here, live at the Lonestar Sports Show. Snoop Johnson and Alan Branch giving it to you. The first guest today is going to be Will Wade, head coach Will Wade.
They're coming in, Coach. They're easing on in there right now.
LSU. Yeah, we have probably around about 75 or 100 college coaches in the building right now. A few shoe companies. We got Under Armour's in. I don't see any Adidas people.
No.
Adidas laying a little low this year, huh?
He just laying low right now. We're going to see him a little later on.
We'll see him later. We'll see him when the sun go down.
This night just not getting started. It's just not getting started right now. I mean, you walk up and down the river walk, and I ain't even been on the river walk yet.
I haven't had time to go to the river walk.
I'm trying to get to the river walk.
My wife's been on the river walk.
I was standing over last night. They got to put some smell good or something down there.
Coach, that's just that big city Louisiana thing. You got that water down there. You can't do anything about that, Coach.
You think they peeing down there, urinating?
No, Coach, that's just a natural biological process.
Oh, man.
Everything in nature don't smell good and taste good, Coach.
Well, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying, but I shouldn't. I mean, when I walk by it, it shouldn't catch me like that.
Yeah,
it shouldn't catch me like that.
That's what you got going on with that whole piece. Hey, all you folks out there on Periscope, you guys will be able to follow back up at the Lonestar Sports Network on YouTube, on our YouTube channel there, Lonestar Sports Network, where you get the Lonestar Sports Show. This is actually, I think it should be episode number 18, show number 96.
Yeah, we got our live YouTube.
Actually, it's episode 19.
Episode 19, right.
Yeah, our live YouTube, guys. I mean, just like they used to do the old Cowboy games back in the day when they weren't sold out. You get the tape delay.
Yeah.
You're going to get the tape delay tonight. So we still talking to y'all. So when you see the show later on, remember that we was talking to you 2 hours earlier.
Right, yeah. There's a
it's still rocking, though. It's still rocking. Yeah. What do they do with that music?
I see
music had me going.
Yeah, well, you can't do all that at the same time.
I don't know how long, Coach, I know this is a 6-day show. I don't know how long you're going to be able to hold me in this seat right now. I mean, there's a lot going on.
No, that's not the whole deal. I'm going to let you take a break out. Go grab Will Wade. Let me visit.
I'm going to let you grab Will Wade on the second segment.
Yeah, go ahead. I thought we were going to do the second segment with Will. I think Will's got a dinner to go to.
Is he ready to go?
He's ready to go now.
Okay, well.
All they do is tap him on the shoulder. He's over there getting some work done right now.
Yeah, you didn't get your producers and all them on the side. We could have walked him on in, got him set up.
Yeah, and you get the unemployed prince to reach over there and tap him on the shoulder and say, one of us got to step away.
If you are in San Antonio right now, if you're a high school coach, AAU coach, grassroots coach, college coach, if you're in town right now, come on over to the Leapin Lizard. We got wings, we got pizza, we got cocktails over there, we got soft drinks, whatever you want over there. We got the what is that? The Dick's. We got the Dick's Classic going on back over there. So hey, I'm gonna go on over and I'm gonna let Will Wade step in here with Mr. Branch right now, and I'm gonna go get me some more of these wings right now. All right? You know the routine, Coach. You know the routine.
Coach, How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
It's a long ways from back in the old days when you were coming down. Tell me, where were you? Somewhere in Tennessee when we first met.
I was at Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Tennessee, Chattanooga.
I was trying to get in recruit Texas and
you
had lunch with you one day. And,
right, yep. We had a good visit, met through Peter Sweatham.
You're still making more money than me, so you bought lunch that day.
Now we know where the lunch has changed at. That's exactly right. No, that's a tremendous fact, no doubt about it. Coach, your work ethic, your caliber of human being that you are, there's no question about any of that. You proved all that to me. I think this is about 8-10 years now. How long ago were you at Chattanooga?
I was there. Well, I was assistant at VCU. Then I was there about 6 years ago.
So about six years ago, and before then, where were you?
I was an assistant at VCU, and I was an assistant at Harvard before that. So
Harvard, you were with Tommy, right?
yeah, I was with Coach Amaker at Harvard.
Okay,
so very fortunate to get on with him.
Yeah, you've been some good places. But one thing I had a chance, you vetted a little fast for me. You got the feel of a 10-year guy, but you're really about a 7-year guy.
I grow on you fast, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, Coach, after your first year in the SEC, congratulations. You did a fine job, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth. What would you say moving into
tell our fans that if you could.
they were pretty happy sometimes.
No,
they were pretty. I watched
kidding.
them and they
our
piled
fans
in.
are great.
I thought the fans were good too.
But the league was as good as it's ever been.
The league was as good as it ever been. I totally agree with you 110% there. There was no question or doubt about that the league was as good as I've ever seen. Right. Comparable to what I've seen in the AAC. I mean, what you guys get to 8 teams in the league?
We got 8 teams. So
8 teams in the tournament.
8 teams in the NCAA tournament.
And how many teams went to the NIT, including yourself?
2 in the NIT.
2 into it. So 10 postseason teams.
Right. 10 of the 14 were in
postseason.
And Georgia would have been if they hadn't made the coaching change.
Okay,
Georgia turned down the NIT invite.
So you guys could have had 11.
We could have had 11.
Technically, you had 11.
There you go. We'll go with 11.
No, we always go with the high number, Coach. I always want to go with the high number, man. That is exactly fact. Tell me, being there, the culture in Louisiana obviously has to be somewhat of a difference and adjustment to you, and then having a neighboring state like Texas, and you've always made Texas a priority in your recruiting process and checking the list. You've always taken our service and looked and thoroughly, no matter what level you were at. What is your thoughts with the adjustment of coming from basically kind of being an East guy, coming truly down into the Southwest now? What is that like for you?
We're just trying to immerse ourselves and get to know as many people as possible, get to build as many relationships as possible, and take days where we just go meet people and talk to people and try to get the lay of the land as best we can and let people know that hey, we're good people. We do things the right way. We want to make sure that we recruit the best guys. And one thing that what you said about Louisiana is we definitely got to get the best guys in Louisiana, but a lot of kids from Louisiana have been displaced maybe through Katrina, or families have moved through job opportunities to Texas, and so that makes it almost kind of trying to look at it like one state.
Right.
And I was telling my staff the other day, maybe the best player in Louisiana in 2019 is probably playing in Texas right now. And so we need to get the best guys in Louisiana, and a lot of that includes coming into Texas to make sure that we get the really good players from Texas, but especially the best guys who are originally from Louisiana or have family in Louisiana who have migrated over here to Texas.
We've got, and you're exactly right. We've got 3 or 4 kids that are on the top 10 kids in the state of Texas that either have grandparents or once lived in Louisiana. They have strong Louisiana ties. So there's no doubt about that. Let's talk a little bit. We only have about 3 or 4 more minutes before we go to break, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about this recruiting class and that you have for your 2018 recruiting class. Where is it ranked? I think, was it 2, 3 in the country, or?
It's good. My staff's done a good job.
Okay.
My staff, they follow all that stuff a little bit more than I do. I'm not sure where it's ranked.
They tell me all those numbers all the time.
Yeah,
we got this, we got that.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
But it really fits well. We got some really good pieces inside. We got some guys that will really help us around the rim. We've got really good guard play with Javante Smart, once again the top player in Louisiana, who was a huge priority for us. Make sure we lock up the top guy in Louisiana. Like I said, my assistants do a great job. My assistants work extremely hard. I try to stay out of the way most of the time and not try to get in there and screw
Well,
it up.
Coach-
Not try to get in there and screw it up too much for them.
You know how that works, Coach. I mean, you've been a good assistant. You've been a good assistant before, and assistants can do all they can do, but they can only roll it out to a point. Coach, you got to come in and close the deal.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay.
But my staff, like you said, they did a great job. You know, as a head coach, I'll say this about my staff. As a head coach, you always want it to feel like a home game when you go in there for a home visit, or when you want to feel like you got the edge and it's a home game, and your assistants have done a good job setting everything up. And my guys have certainly done that.
Well, and the only way that you're able to accomplish that is guys have relationships. Right. You know, you can't build relationships, and you can't build a comfort zone overnight. There has to be some sense of recognition, and I think you've done an outstanding job with that with your staff and the work. You just spent, the last couple of days in Texas before you got around to get a chance to make it down here for Final Four. Is that about right?
Yeah, I was up around the Metroplex area.
There's a couple players in the Metroplex, right?
There's a few players. There's a few players, and I was driving, and it was good just to meet some people. I got to meet a lot of new coaches, a lot of new people I didn't know, and hopefully we can build on those relationships, and they'll bear some fruit down the tracks here.
Well, Coach, we really, really appreciate you coming in and being here at the Lonestar Sports Show. They're spinning their finger around, not because they like us or they're waving at us. That means they want us to speed up and go on. So they're getting right around the situation. We have 45 seconds here before we go to break. I really appreciate everything you've done. What do you think about the atmosphere here? You said you watched the show a couple of times.
Oh yeah, I've watched it a few times, so it's good. It's good to be on. Coach Benford, my assistant, and I, we sit in the office and watch it sometimes. Try to get a little scoop.
Okay, here we go.
Try to get a little scoop. Coach will put up in his computer, on his computer, and we can put it on his TV screen.
Oh, y'all got high tech over there.
TV screen, so we got all the high tech.
So that's what's going on.
So it's nice to be on, and we appreciate all you guys do to help us out, but more importantly to help the players out, to help people out, and help connect people in Texas.
And it's about a community, Coach, and y'all are part of the family there in Louisiana. we don't need a passport, or they don't check us or anything. We go to Louisiana.
Just come
roll straight in.
Straight across I-10. You're good to go.
I-10. You're good to go. We get right in there. So, man, hey, look, I appreciate everything that's going on, and looking forward to visiting with you and doing more things with you. And if we get ready to go to break, we'll see you around at a few more parties and a few more outings. And I guess it's Go Tigers is what it is?
Yeah, G-E-A-U-X.
Grow Tigers.
Yeah, G-E-A-U-X.
I'm not that good at the Louisiana stuff. But no, you're doing a fine job. We're looking for big things, man. We appreciate you taking time to be with us. Anything that we can do, anything has anything to do with Texas, we're behind you, Coach. You good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, here we are at the Lonestar Sports Show right here in the San Antonio, Texas, at the Final Four in Alamo City. Getting it in, we got head coach Will Wade with us with the Louisiana State University Tigers coming and visit our first segment. Next segment, we're going to go visit with the Red Raiders a little bit and see what it is they have and their thoughts, and they had a really good season this year. Today's show is brought to you by FastMileSports.com, where Ross Cumberford, founder and CEO, represents and supports this process and taking it to where it has gotten to. We're looking to go forward in the future. This particular segment is brought to you by Harlem Hotels, where you put your money where you sleep. Harlem Hotels, investment and developers based out of Houston, Texas. Be back in 180 seconds with more Lonestar Sports Show. Right back with you. Hey, here we are at the Lonestar Sports Show. Today's show is brought to you by FastMallSports.com, where Ross Comerford, CEO and founder, is leading basketball into the 21st century through the vehicle of technology. Right now, we're here at the Lonestar Sports Show. This segment, we're happy to have a longtime Texas guy, West Texas guy. You know, a lot of people know him at the University of Texas, played at the University of Texas. I think I've known him, to do the math here a little bit. Shit, coach, a long time.
It's been
16,
a while,
17 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, because you were high school class of 2000, right?
Finished in 99, 2000.
99, 2000, your first college season.
First college season.
Right,
2000,
TJ came there after you were a sophomore.
I was a junior.
You were a junior.
TJ
okay.
and I played 2 years
2001,
together,
right, okay, because he did 2 years, you did your final 2 years, right.
Yep.
That would have made all the sense in the world. Because we can talk about history all the time, but, you know, being down here, you're a Starch Texas guy, you spent, 1 year or 2 seasons at Tennessee?
One season at Tennessee.
One season
and then I left to go with Beard to UNLV. So I was there with him for
right. I
those
forgot
30,
about that.
30 days or whatever.
Right, yeah, I know.
That was a hell of a 30 days, Branch.
Coach, I remember Doc Sadler and Tony Benford being there for only 11 days at UTEP and then going to Nebraska. So I know the feel of it as a whole deal. So it happens in this business. Things move real fast. What did you think about this year's season? Obviously, it probably takes a little inner something to the fact that Michigan is here, and when you think back about that, you know, how did you process that in your head? I know with myself, I've always said, well, I won't go to that until I make it to that, and when you get that close like that, I felt like you were right there. I mean, you know, people look at the score, 12, 13 points, you know, it was not a 5 possession.
Well, it was a 5-point game with 4 minutes to go. Right. 2-possession game. But you know what? Villanova's good. I mean, they're a really good team, and we just didn't make the plays we needed to make. Rebounding, they got some key rebounds on us offensively, killed us. But when you're right there and you taste it, you know, one thing as a coach you want and a former player, you want everybody in your program to be able to taste it, be able to play in games like that because it makes everything else worth it.
How many people do you all return on the Texas Tech team, or how many people do you lose? Might be an easy way to say it.
We lose our 5 seniors.
Okay.
Those 5 seniors.
And those 5 seniors played, what would you say, out of the 200 minutes, would you say those 5 seniors played 70 minutes of those 200 minutes?
It's probably about 60% of the minutes, yeah.
So more like 120 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we're coming back this year. I mean, that's a tall task. You've been doing this for a long time. You're basically going to be returning roughly 80 of your 200 minutes back into next season.
Right. But those minutes are Zaire Culver, and so they're
So they're heavy with
minutes.
like 3 guys.
They're heavy minutes, and you know one thing about those guys, they never hit that freshman wall.
Right.
And Beard's great about making protecting their bodies and making sure they don't, but. All freshmen have hit that wall and they didn't, and so they locked heavy minutes.
Okay. So you're returning 2 freshmen that probably played 60 of those 200 minutes. Pretty close. They played,
no question.
They were playing right at 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, right. Yep.
So when you lose that 120 in the other deal, where do you see as far as a recruiting class? And I don't want to put you on any kind of playing minute spot or anything like that right there. How comfortable do you feel to getting back to where you were? And I know that's a tough question.
Yeah. No, we feel good because we're going to always recruit, and we feel like we know exactly what we want. We want very versatile players that can do a lot of different things and interchangeable parts, and you know how it is, Brent. We want the best players we can get. It doesn't matter position, and Beard lets them hoop. Yeah. And when you get good players that can hoop and with some coaching, but he lets them hoop, and so we feel good about it.
Well, Coach, you know, I got to do this one, just take it down on basketball. It is Basketball Thursday on the Lonestar Sports Show, so it's okay for Coach Ogden and I to go in the direction that we're going right now. So we take it to a little scouting service side. I was really high on Zaire Smith. I've been high on a lot of guys in the past, and you know we've communicated, and I've been wrong sometimes, and I've been right sometimes. How much improvement do you see, or how much ceiling do you see left in Zaire Smith?
I think he's just scratching the Branch. I think he's like a blank canvas that is waiting to explode. He picks up things quick. He's very intelligent. He's got vision on the court.
Great passer. Yeah.
Great passer,
Right.
which was one of the first things you told me about it. You know, and then his elite athleticism speaks for itself. His ability to guard multiple positions. We're excited about his development. He's going to be more and more comfortable playing strictly guard, which he hasn't done a lot.
Right.
But he's getting there.
He's a basketball player, though.
He's
Coach.
a basketball player,
right?
And,
you know, and he's willing to be a basketball player. There's not any new age, new millennial type things about him. He's a good old solid kid, right? Good solid kid. And I thought he was a rock. To be a freshman, I thought he was a rock. Obviously, Keenan being your point guard there at the point guard position with all the years of experience and everything that he has taken that team through the situation. Let's talk a little bit about Texas, recruiting Texas. Obviously, when you're in a national program and a Power 5 conference, you're recruiting the world, you know, and if you can find one on Mars, if they can get the paperwork figured out up in Indianapolis, y'all take it, you know.
Right.
But how comfortable do y'all feel about recruiting Texas, recruiting North Texas, that situation? You've done it for a long time. Your staff is not all Texas guys. It's you, Mark Adams, and
Beard. Beard's been, you know, he's a Texas guy.
Yeah, right.
Grew up in Irving and then lived in Houston and grew up in the scene. So look, that's where we want to start all of our recruiting. If we could have all Texas kids and have the type of talent we want, there's no doubt about
in your career, you've recruited Texas obviously hard. I mean, you know your way around.
I know my way around outside of Texas, but I've always hung my hat on Texas. And best players I've ever recruited have been from Texas.
Texas, right?
And I just believe in it. You know, one thing, Branch. I grew up in the AAU summer basketball scene in Texas.
Tell us about your story from being from Seminole, Texas, right?
Yep.
And coming into the DFW area and playing with which program? Blue Chips.
I played for Blue Chips. Yeah, I played for Blue Chips, and then I played for Dallas Slam and Jam.
Dallas Slam and Jam, right?
And then the next summer I played for the Houston Hoops.
Played for the Houston Hoops.
So yeah, I grew up in a small town in West Texas. I played on these little, you know,
I met
Hoosiers AAU teams.
I met a kid the other day that played for Seminole, Texas. He was 6'6", 6'7". I interviewed the kid. I'm going to call you and ask about it. Not bad. Okay. He's going to play at the college level.
No, he will. I know exactly what you're talking about.
How about that?
I can't say his name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
We'll keep everything compliant here at the Lonestar Sports Network. Right?
Branch has always been about the rules.
Yeah, we're going to keep the rules. We're going to keep the rules right where they need to be. We will keep everybody happy.
I played on my little AAU teams. You know, the Hoosiers type AAU teams, and then I went and played in the Dallas area and the Houston area and traveling the country with all sorts of people.
So you understand the culture, you understand the field, you walked in the same shoes that these players are walking in. You understand what they want, you understand what their parents want from them. You've seen the whole process.
I understand what's realistic too.
You understand right?
And realistic expectations and
the amount of work that goes in the reaching what
you said. I've walked in their shoes. I mean, I literally, you know, when Kunstadt Shootout was back at Denton, you know, I remember playing in those all throughout high school.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And really, about that time, 99, 2000, 2001, that's when, I think, in my opinion, that's when
Texas basketball
took off. Yeah.
Well, if you go look and check an interview that I had with ABC 13 down in Houston, I told them the exact same thing. It's when it made that little pop swing. It was really kind of like after you had gone to college, everything just kind of turned. So you know, right now, when you walk into a home and you're recruiting a Dallas-Fort Worth kid, you're recruiting a Houston kid, you're recruiting a Texas kid, you can share experiences with parents with the things that you've been through and with your process and how good Texas has been through you. We have a saying right here on the Lonestar Sports Show: all things sports, all things Texas. So we always are a little bit Texas first. You know, I got clients all over the country, but we love what you all have done there at Lubbock and love what you all have accomplished there. And where all is going. And we got a house full here and things going. I look back over my shoulder and see where all is going. We're right here at the Leaping Lizard, right here, 300 block of West Commerce Street, right here at the Final Four in San Antonio, Alamo City. The Final Four is going to be going on for the remainder of the week. Got the watch games that we'll be doing on Saturday. That'll be live during that period. Everything's going. We want to say congratulations to the Sweet 16, a great season, all the way down to Elite 8. I'm coming, Coach. I'm coming. We'll count it down, Coach. Now we need to go to Final Four. I don't know. I think we maybe go to Georgia next year or somewhere there. But I think y'all have the ability. I think the style is there. We just want y'all to know that for so many years, you know, Chris Walker, I believe this when he was the interim head coach at Texas Tech, that with the relationships and the right people in place, that Texas Tech could be and they've had a good program, but we thought they could be top 1, 2 in the Big 12, and y'all proved that this year.
Yeah, because I think you saw it this year because of the fans.
Yeah.
The great fans, unbelievable fans that we sold the last 4 or 5 games out.
Did you really?
That
Okay.
place was rocking. We had
Yeah.
college game day there,
Yeah.
and then we went to Dallas for the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. It was unbelievable how many Texas Tech.
Got a lot of fans in Dallas-Fort Worth area. Huh?
Unbelievable.
Hey, well, y'all got Chris Ogden right here at the Lonestar Sports Show. Today's show is brought to you by Fast Mile Sports. We want to say congratulations to Coach. Fast Mile Sports produces and supports and title sponsor of this show. Ross Comerford, CEO and founder of Fast Mile Sports. Fast Mile Sports leading us into the 21st century through the vehicle of technology. We'll be back in 180 seconds with more Lone Star Sports Show. I think Stu Johnson's going to be coming back in. We're going to get back in and keep it going. Y'all know you also can get live right there at YouTube Live on the Lone Star Sports Network channel. We'll be back in 180 seconds with more sports. Coach, thanks so much for coming on and visiting with us. We appreciate all that you do for the community, Coach.
Thanks, Brian.
Take care. Hey, here we are right here at the Lone Star Sports Show, right on the Lone Star Sports Network. All things sports, all things Texas. We're down here in the Alamo City at the Final Four. Right now, I'm lucky to have my guest here, Leapin Nunez. Leapin Nunez, one of the founders and developers of Texas Hard Work. We got a story to tell about him. But before we tell that story, we also want to say that this segment is brought to you by Harlem Hotels and Investment in Developers. Put your money where you sleep. Go take a look at harlemhotels.com and find out more about how you can make your money work for you when you're awake and when you sleep. But right now, we got Lupe Nunez with San Antonio Hard Work. He wears a lot of hats down here in the city. Let me tell you, this is a dude. This is his city. This is your city, Coach.
My city, yes, sir.
Yeah, I am so appreciative of bringing down. This is like my second or third Final Four here I've had more of a casual feel and experience here now, just being involved. First thing I would want to do is just bring out the fact that you being the first guy, I think that, and there may be some other people that have had some situations, some deals, or everybody like in grassroots basketball likes to call them deals.
Right.
They have some shoe company affiliations, but as far as a full-blown agreement and contract and responsibility to a corporate entity, I think San Antonio Hard Work would be the first. Am I pretty accurate with saying that?
I think you're pretty accurate on that.
Okay, and I'll give you, anybody who wants to correct me, you can always get a chance to correct me through the vehicle of social media. But y'all done a fantastic job there. I remember the first time I sat down with you maybe 5, 6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
That's right, at our event about 6 years ago. That's correct.
6, right. And where y'all were going, y'all were with the younger guys and what was going on. And how do you feel now that you've had the national experience, you had the experience all over the state of Texas, now you're here. What do you see San Antonio right now in the growth and the assimilation and how they're growing and accepting grassroots basketball as a mainstream type piece here?
I think what we've seen here in probably the last 5 or 6 years, I think just with us being able to put the kids on a different platform nationally, I guess you can say, and through Under Armour and our agreement and contract with them, I think it's always has been an underserved, I think, basketball community. We've always had players, we put some kids in the league, and kids go Division I, Division II, of course, JUCO, etc. But I think in the last 5 years, you're really going to start to see, we've seen, a lot of college coaches make this a priority. And where before I don't think it was. And that's all Central Texas, to be honest with you. Not just San Antonio, but I think San Antonio surrounding areas.
And that's what it's kind of become is Central Texas, the population. What's the population roughly of San Antonio metropolitan area?
I want to say the surrounding area, metropolitan, a little bit over 2 million now.
2 million people. Yeah. And so what you have going on there, and what I would say, Coach, and I'm big on the demographics and the population breakdown because the players have to come from somewhere.
Absolutely.
There are no parents and people, no players. And what you see is with Dallas being the 4th largest metropolitan area and Houston being the 5th, and I've heard that Dallas and Houston are pushing up on top of Chicago or some things are going on there. When you take about the rest of Texas and you go San Antonio, and we've used the word Central Texas a lot in my business, and when you include Austin and San Antonio, you're approaching one of those larger metropolitan areas.
Absolutely. I mean, San Antonio and Austin is like Dallas, Fort Worth.
Right, exactly.
From my residence to the airport in Austin, it probably takes me 40 minutes to get there.
Right, and it's no different. And that's what you see in your larger metropolitan areas. And where I see and forecast things going is that nothing but greater things are going to happen, not only just from a demographical metropolitan perspective, it affects basketball, and you're going to see more growth. Back when I was coaching summer ball 15 plus years ago, we were coming to San Antonio. There was a guy named Daryl that ran.
Daryl Richardson ran the San Antonio Rollhawks.
San Antonio Rollhawks. That is the godfather. I want to give you a word. That's the godfather of the process. We come down to the Rollhawks.
No doubt.
And they ran a quality process, a big AAU guy.
That's actually where Blue Man got to start. Blue Man coached with Daryl Richardson and the Rollhawks.
Okay, right. And so, that was the beginning of it. And there were some other programs that have been, so we're not slighting any of you all, but what I forecast in the next, I would say 4 to 6 years, is you're going to see more McDonald's All-Americans, more college prospects. They're going to pitch us back up to potentially, I would say, 100 Division I prospects from the state of Texas. We're back down to about 70, 75 right now, and even in that process, we still lead the country in prospects, even at 70, 75. And I've seen the time back in the day when we were in the 80s and 90s,
right.
And I think Central Texas is going to be responsible for that. Tell us a little bit about the program as far as, because I'm big on development. Talent is great, but you got to have a player. Right, you got to have a player. And I've been over to some of your young kid workouts, and I like some of the things y'all doing. Y'all teaching kids how to play. You're not just dribbling through cones. You're not just doing skill development. Y'all are actually doing the actual hands-on of teaching kids how to make decisions, choices, and building IQs and acumen and feel for the game.
No doubt. Terrence Booman Jackson, who's also a director of Texas Hard Work with myself, he does an amazing job of skilling these kids up and just as a program itself with all the coaches of teaching these kids how to play the right way.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest compliments we've always received from the grassroots level whether we're in LA, New York, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, our kids always play the right way. And I think that's just not even our program. That goes for the city of San Antonio, to be honest with you.
There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that.
Absolutely.
San Antonio kids, 99, nobody's perfect, but 99% of the time, San Antonio kids are really good, well-raised kids. I've always said it had a lot to do with the influence of how much of your military people and how kids have been raised in that type of environment.
And I believe the Spurs had a lot to do with it. People, if you look back and you see how the
Ken
Spurs...
Burmeister told me that 10 years ago. He said, Branch, let me tell you something. I've been knowing Coach Burmeister for a long time. He's former head coach at Incarnate Word and was a Division I coach in the 70s when I was a little boy.
Right.
And he told me, he said, Branch, let me tell you something. What you're going to see between the military families coming in and getting involved and the success of the Spurs and I laugh because this was years ago, is that San Antonio is going to become a hotbed in the state of Texas for prospects.
Right.
And I'll be damned, he was right, and you guys are having an opportunity to kind of lead that process.
We have, we've been blessed. We've had some talent. You got to have talent.
Yep.
It starts with talent, and we've been blessed with the ability to develop that talent. And from there, and I do think that the Spurs have a lot to do with it, just from the standpoint that, they set the foundation for the city, and a lot of these kids, it's a Spurs city. And everywhere you go, whether you see bumper stickers, T-shirts, and they play the right way. Whether you like them or not, I'm a basketball fan. I can't say I grew up a Bulls fan.
Right.
I'm not a diehard Spurs fan, but these kids watch how they play, and I think it's had a lot to
It's
do with
influence.
that.
I mean, I've told RC that, Buford, the general manager over there, the same thing, and I've never met Pop, and I don't know him personally, but I do know RC pretty decent, fairly well, and I think it influences y'all's culture.
Right. Absolutely.
It influences. It's not as much hip hop hoop culture because they see the value in what you see right before them, whether it's consciously or subliminally. You're constantly playing basketball the right way because of what Greg Popovich does with the San Antonio Spurs.
And we have to. We don't have the volume of athletes Dallas and Houston has. You call it what you say. People can argue about it all day long. There's a truth to it.
No.
So these kids, we take the talented kids we have, the athletes that we have. For every one stud we have, Dallas, Houston has 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So the other kids, in order to get seen, because the coaches come see that one stud, right?
Right.
And then from there, it's kind of a trickle down effect.
Yeah. Right.
So now the other kids, as long as they know how to play the right way, that's giving them an advantage to get into school.
And what you just said there, and some of you grassroots people might be listening, one of my old sayings is, I got 2 sayings. Coaches don't come to certified NCAA events like the Lonestar Challenge and things that are going to be going on with Under Armour and Nike in Dallas in a few weeks. They don't come there looking for players. They come there to look at players. And when they come there to look at players, your main responsibility as a player, as a prospect, is to show coaches what you can do and not what you can't do.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that I appreciate is that you guys have guys that are playing to their strength. You're putting guys in comfortable situations, and you're doing things in a quality way. So I mean that's a really good thing. We got a lot of guys chiming in and getting in there on Periscope. We obviously have the people at Lonestar Sports Network that'll be chiming in, and we appreciate all the things that you've done. I'm going to go and say it, and let me go on the record, not in any monetary way, but this man right here made all of this happen. All that noise you hear in the background, everything, all Ruby Nunez had to do is make a phone call. He knows everybody from the mailman to the barber to the butcher to the guy driving the garbage truck, the delivery guy, the guys that are on the bars, go to everything. Coach, you born and raised here, right?
Well, I've been here since 1994. I was originally born and raised about an hour and a half south of here. I've been here since 94, so I've got to see the growth. I had a conversation with someone just yesterday for lunch, and since I've been here, I believe there's 11 or 12 high schools that have been built. 6A schools, not small schools, 6A schools now.
And there's
a lot of growth.
And there's a calculator for that. For every time you develop a 6A school, it requires a certain amount of population to support that process. And obviously, when you talk about a 6A school, you're talking about an enrollment of 3,000 to 4,000 students. Well, those 3,000 to 4,000 students come from somewhere.
Absolutely. I mean, I read something in the Business Journal a couple months ago. I believe net there's about 1,800 new residents that come into the city of San Antonio every month.
Wow. So it's not going to take long for this process to get where it's going. That's a very, very interesting point that you make and bring up there, that the growth and what's going on, because the number you just threw out, I remember those kind of numbers being used in Dallas-Fort Worth. I definitely remember when Houston was in this big boom, when the all boom, those numbers were used. So that does forecast a lot. And all I can say is you got the situation with Texas hard work. You guys have got to get prepared. You got to get some more coaches.
Get some more coaches.
You got to get more gyms. Got more gym space, coach.
Yeah.
Got to give room for the ball beaters to have an opportunity.
That's right.
Well, man, we're glad to have you here. We're glad you
appreciate it.
Hosting and being the host that you've been. You've been a glorious host. Guys from California, Adam Silver with that group. They're excited. Ryan Silver, right? Yeah, Adam Silver is another one of my.
I don't know. I don't know Adam. I don't have his number.
You don't have his number. That's a good number to have. But Ryan Silver, right? With academic recruits, I think it is based out of California.
That's
done
correct.
things there, and the things that you guys have learned. So it lets you know that. The other thing is that when you look at a guy like Leapin Nunez, everybody likes to look at grassroots basketball and talk about shoe contracts and talk about McDonald's All-Americans and top 25 in the country and doing this and doing that. And when you look at those situations, the thing that I respect about you all is, Coach, y'all are developing young men and preparing them for life. And with you being the kind of man that you are in this community, you have the direct ability not only say, don't listen to what I say, but watch what I do. Right. Father of 3, wife, home, and dedicating your time and running business and doing all the things you're doing. Right. That means a lot, Coach. I mean, I know we get caught up in the basketball. I never told you this before, but the ball is going to stop bouncing one day.
It's going to stop bouncing.
And
that's right.
if you don't want them standing on the corner asking you for $1, Coach, we got to guide them in the right direction. So that's
Absolutely.
a tremendous situation there. We appreciate you coming on
Thanks
to
for
the
having me.
Lonestar Sports Show. Good luck and bless you with everything you're doing, man.
Appreciate it,
Thanks a lot for welcoming the city.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you a lot. We'll be back in 180 seconds with more Lonestar Sports Show right here in the Alamo City. You guys get it on, doing it on for the Final Four right here at the Leapin Lizard in the 300 block of West Commerce right here in the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas for the Final Four. That was my main man, Leapin Nunez, that was on. We're going to be taking a break. All you guys right there on Periscope, you can just listen to the background noise and go along with that. If you want to hear it in the real deal, the music and the whole 9 yards, you got to chime in. We're just trying to create this experience and spread it around a little bit where it'll be out there where everybody can get a little bit of Final Four in. We'll be back in 180 seconds with more Lonestar Sports Show. Today's show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. Go take a look and see how they're leading basketball into the 21st century through the vehicle of technology. Back at you in 180 seconds. Hey, here we are rolling back in at the Lonestar Sports Network of the Lonestar Sports Show. Right now, we're going in. Today's show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. This particular segment is brought to you by the Lonestar Challenge. Lonestar Challenge, April 20th through the 22nd, will be there, the NCAA certified event in Cedar Hill, Texas, right there during the period. There'll be more college coaches per capita than anywhere else in the world during that period of time. But right now, we have James Guillory with Harlem Hotels. Guy, first of all, I'm meeting you on the air. How about that?
It's wonderful. Thank you for having us. Wonderful event. Wonderful time to be in San Antonio.
Alan and I go a long ways back, and I apologize that we never have, it's going so fast, and you're busy and I'm busy. We never had a chance to meet. And I appreciate you guys getting involved with us and with the things that you're doing. Obviously, there's a fit. There's an obvious fit that's there. I know that this whole college basketball world is probably a little erratic for a guy that maybe have accounting or management.
That's my background.
No, your accounting background. You're gonna struggle with college sports for a minute. It goes real fast, but it always comes together though. Yeah,
that's right. Well,
big industry, that's going on. And I'll throw a few numbers out at you just to kind of let you know. Sports tourism is a $8 billion a year business just at the grassroots level before kids ever even get to college. And so that's the market there. And now basketball, college basketball, NBA basketball, they all make up for right at a $2 trillion a year business that goes on globally in the whole process. And the one thing that's involved is that you have a situation where it's a small community, small tight relationships. The old movie, I think 6 degrees of separation. Well, in college basketball, it's like 1 or 2 degrees at the most, And you've been in the room, and you've been around, and you're getting an experience here. And so, I think the fit was the obvious fit to have a relationship with you guys. And obviously, I have a strong relationship with Alan, and because we go all the way back to the University of Texas. And he's 1 year older. He never told you he's older than me now.
All right.
He was class of 80. I was class of 81. So he's 1 year ahead of me. So when I got there, he's the one that had to show me the ropes when I got to the 40 acres.
Awesome.
But that relationship goes way back. But where the tremendous fit is that all we do is rent hotel rooms and rent rental cars.
That's right.
We travel all the time. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how you migrated and moved over from being an accountant into this, see where we are with Harlem Hotel Investment. I'm going to let you take it a little bit.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for having me once again. Harlem Hotels, we are hotel owners, developers, and an acquisitions firm for Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt, upper mid-scale branded hotels like Courtyards and Hilton Gardens, Hyatt Places. We've been doing this now for 19 years. Started business in 1999. And I started out as an accountant, traveling, staying in hotels. Saw it as a good, viable business. Saw the parking lots full. Came from a family of entrepreneurs that had been in business for about 25 years before I went to college. And my mother and father actually became my first investors in the first hotel we developed. And we opened in 2002, our first Hampton by Hilton that we opened. And since then, we now have 9 hotels in our pipeline. We started out bringing in high net worth individual investors into our individual hotel developments and acquisitions. And we have since now created our funds, which now allow us to go to the broader public and allow investors to come in and invest with us as we acquire more Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt branded hotels.
And right now, your real focus is Texas right now. I mean, you're Houston, Texas, and
we're based in Houston. Texas has been a great market for us. The hotels that we have acquired and developed in Texas have performed extremely well. However, our outreach is a lot further. We are throughout the United States. We look for those top strong markets that are strong in medical, very strong university markets, very strong industrial markets that are tied to some good corporate, good leisure. We're a 365-day-a-week business.
No doubt about that.
So we got to look for those good markets to allow us to fill those rooms up and perform for our investors, who our investors are clients of those properties. So I tell people all the time, you need to look at making money where you spend money. You spend money at Walmart, you got Walmart stock. You spend money on Amazon, you got Amazon stock.
And we have a slogan here on the Lonestar Sports Show after only being involved with you guys for a couple of weeks now, is that is that you put your money where you sleep.
Exactly right.
And that's one of the slogans that we've been using here in our commercial spots with y'all. And we totally understand it. And what I would like to take this time to do, and we're going to be on, I got some other things I want to do, is that I just want to invite you into the sports world. Sports world is a tremendous world. Here, we're roughly dealing with about 28,000 kids, boys and girls, per class that are playing grassroots basketball, playing organized basketball. There's actually 16 million in the world, but right here in the state of Texas, just per class, and those classes go all the way down. They span all the way down to 9U, and these people are traveling, and everybody is getting a hotel. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity for you guys here to have the opportunity that you're providing, because we sleep in Hiltons, we sleep in
Marriott's,
Marriott, some Hyatt,
yes.
but the one we use the most is escaping me right now. I don't say I can. The one that you had out on I-10 functioning right, Hamptons. Hamptons. Do you realize that Hamptons? We take over Hamptons in some of grassroots basketball. All overflows, the whole deal.
It's a very strong performing brand.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone listening to your presentation now, you're recording now, I'm sure they have stayed in the Hampton Inns and the Hilton Garden Inns and the Courtyard.
Because you got hot coffee and breakfast
free.
Yeah, free. And you got 15 kids and 20 parents with you.
That's right.
That represents one team.
Yes, sir.
And we average about 200 to 300 teams per event.
That's right. Okay, we love having you.
Yeah, all right.
Keep
you got to sleep somewhere.
Keep coming. And us on the investor side, once again, this is the area where I ask individuals, you have investments in stocks and bonds in your retirement accounts, and you have an opportunity to diversify and invest in alternative investments like ours, which are direct investment ownership into the actual hotel properties, not just the stocks. And there's great tax benefits that come out of that.
And these investors get a chance to actually monitor quarterly reports, yearly reports that are actually going on.
We provide a 7% preferred return. It's paid out quarterly throughout the year.
All right. I got to get my accountant over here now.
That's right. We provide an overall 14 to 16% return on their money year over year, over a 4 to 7 year hold on their investment. So it performs a little differently than your stocks, but it performs better also and provides some tax benefits.
And I don't want to put you on the spot here a little bit, but I've also been, Alan has shared with me some of accreditation. We use that in education. It's not the appropriate word.
Yes.
But you guys have some certifications that have invested. You can share some of that with us.
We have certain funds that are qualified through the SEC.
That's the word we're looking
for. That's right. They have to go through reviews by the SEC. They have to be put together by our securities attorney.
Stock Exchange Commission is what we're talking about.
That's right.
And that's huge in this deal. And I like to be transparent. And I've told Alan this before, and it's kind of come in a little spontaneous way. Yeah. The more transparent your guys are, because when you're in sports, everybody comes at you with something. And the transparency and the world, I mean, the number one stop for a Ponzi scheme is a athlete.
Got it.
Because athletes usually are trusting someone else to something, or something else is being involved. They usually don't do the homework. So bring as much transparency in the things that you're bringing. That's why I think it's a tremendous opportunity what you're doing here and coming into the sporting world, what I have an opportunity to do here through the vehicle, and not only just basketball, but sports in general. And so there's huge things to be going, and for you to take the time, I want to use a couple of minutes here before we get away. And I did a little research, but I'm not able to recall everything. But you guys have won some awards, or you've won some awards yourself. Tell us about that.
I have won some awards. Actually, our firm, which started with my mother and father as initial investors, and it has grown now. I have multiple partners that have come from other institutional investment firms. But our very first acknowledgement that we received was in 1999. We learned out of 1,500 Hampton by Hiltons in the United States of America, we were the first African-American fully owned Hampton by Hilton in the system.
That's tremendous. I know I like Hampton for some reason.
So
I was putting my money.
It was great. I had no idea that we were even
And you never measured it.
I never measured it.
Right,
We filled out a franchise agreement, paid our fees, got our approval,
up and running.
and we found out. But over that, we've also been fortunate enough to win Pinnacle Award.
Okay, I'm familiar with the Pinnacle Award there in Houston. I spent about 20 years in
the
the
Black Chamber.
Right, that's correct.
I've been a speaker at my alma mater, University of North Texas.
Is that right?
I'm actually
Okay.
a board member at the University of North Texas.
Wow, we got some connections. We're involved with a technology piece right now that I'm a minority owner in.
Yes.
Called ePlay, which is all about analytics. And one day we'll have a cup of coffee, and I can tell you about how crazy that whole world is right now and where it's going. And it's just technology moving into basketball. Our show is sponsored by FastMallSports.com.
Yes.
And if you go take a look at Fastmall Sports, it's a $30 million a year company. There's nothing but basketball technology.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that are going on there, but to say what University of North Texas is that you guys are kind of like our guinea pig, or you the first guys to come on, because one of my partners is a alum of there. So their sporting department came on. Actually, the coach is a client, Grant McCassell, and you guys doing well last night. They won a big game last night against San Francisco.
I've been very proud of University of North Texas. We have a wonderful chancellor.
Okay,
they've been doing fantastic with what's been going on at the university. I've also been a speaker for several years, many years actually, at University of Houston. The Conrad Hilton Hospitality School that they have there.
Right.
So we've been extremely fortunate to win some acknowledgement and recognition from a number of companies, especially Hilton hotels themselves.
Yeah. They swirl their fingers and do a lot of finger and sign language around this camp. Don't pay much attention to it. We in control.
Okay. You're in charge. I'm watching you.
You hang on with me. I ain't gonna let us get in a bad place here.
Okay. Point taken.
But no, I appreciate that. I know in 12 minutes we can only do so much.
Yes.
I guess the amazing thing is I've met a lot of people that I've been involved in relationships. You might be the first guy I met for the first time on air.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just shook your hand, came up and sit down. So, it's right there. It's a tremendous deal, man. I like what you guys are doing. I'm actually have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing, and I've learned a lot in the last probably 30 to 45 days about what you guys are doing, and it's all there. You got to teach me more. I think there's a lot of opportunity for not only the college coaching community, but the high school community. I mean, there's so many people that are utilizing what you have and you guys doing, and just glad to know about it, and glad that you guys are choosing to support something like this. I know this is kind of like totally out of your...
It's new to us, but we're looking forward to be able to bridge that gap between these private investments that are available to those men and women, college coaches, college athletes going pro athletes. You mentioned the issue with transparency,
right,
and trust,
trust and transparency,
and accountability.
Yes.
All those things. We run into that a lot when we approach a lot of the pro athletes and the experiences that they've had.
Because Ray always wants them to open the car wash or cleaners or something. I mean, there's something always out there on the deal, man.
Right.
And don't take athletes in the sports world the wrong way. We're a little guarded at times.
Understand.
Because a natural deal. And I've had this conversation with Alan, and it's just massaging and building relationships. And the things you talked about is transparency. It takes transparency to build trust.
Yes, sir.
Accountability builds trust. It all comes down to the T word. And that's something that we know about because we're accustomed to trusting teammates.
Right.
In order to be able to play this game the appropriate way, there has to be a certain amount of trust within a team. So we understand that. So we're looking forward to the Harlem Hotel investment and developers being a part of our team here at the Lonestar Sports Network, Sports Resources, and all the hats. And when I get back down to Houston, we will get a chance to get a formal introduction, and we'll sit down and have a cup of coffee and do some things like that.
Thank you.
So we're going to get ready to go to break right here. We're so happy to have James Guillory, the CEO and president and founder of Harlem Hotels Development and Investment, located right there in Houston, Texas. We are here at the Lonestar Sports Show. All things sports, all things Texas. We're getting it in right here in the Alamo City at the Final Four right here. The NCAA Final Four is going to be a real good one. We'll be back for our watch party with more things going on. But we're right here, as my man Stu Johnson say, arriving on the top of the hour. We got one more half of Basketball Thursday for you. We'll be out. All you folks there on Periscope, y'all hang tight. All you folks that are on the accustomed to being on what we do at YouTube Live, you know the deal. Listen to the commercial. We'll be back in 180 seconds with more Lonestar Sports Show. Florida, but we kept them in Texas long enough to get it done. Hey, here we are at the Lonestar Sports Show, live on the air and live on Periscope right now. I want to say congratulations to you, man. I know you had it in you.
Thank you, Coach.
All them days of sleeping on the couch, man. I mean, you know, man, you have no idea, man, how I feel about it. I know every time we talk on the phone, we both going 100 miles an hour, and I know you're a head high school coach in the state of Florida. I don't even know what city you in. I don't know if you got any players or what you're doing, but I know they gave you the job.
So yeah,
Tell me
Coach,
about it.
I really appreciate you saying that, man. We had a great couple of years together down here when I was working for you, and it's kind of, blasted me off into my career in coaching now, and I couldn't be more grateful to you first and foremost. But the name of the school that I just got hired at it's called Schoolhouse Prep. They play in the same division as Miami Christian, who's won 4 of the last 5 state championships down in Florida. We were in the regional final last year. So we have a good group to build on. We have a strong 2020 class with players. Carl Bigord, a 6'5" Haitian boy, who really grew last year. He really got a chance to play and handle the ball some more. Expecting big things, and then we got some other pieces. So we're just excited about transitioning into next season.
Well, while you here on the air at the Lonestar Sports Network, when people hear prep and hear things like that, tell these people that you guys are a full-blown accredited school that exists in Florida. Are you in Miami?
Yeah, we are in Miami, Florida, and we are accredited by every accreditation there is in the country.
And you play for
we play in the FHSAA, the Florida High School Athletic Association,
which is the equivalent of the UIL here in the state of Texas.
Exactly.
And I have to say that because in the climate in the world that we're living in right now, and especially in the basketball world, everything's so crazy. And I was with the NCAA guys last night doing the NCAA enforcement with all the crazy FBI scandals and everything going on. Everybody has raised eyebrows about everything going on, and we live in a world that's somewhat like that too. And so when you throw that out there, I want people to know, because I'm so proud of what you have accomplished and where you're there, is that you do have an alternative and an option and opportunity to come to a school like this, and you're in a situation, full-blown 48H,
yes, sir.
Gets eligible and moves right on into the situation as your boy Mitch Marcus from Tyler Junior College trying to get it in a little bit.
Jump on the show. Mitch Marcus, you're a second late, man.
Yeah.
Second late. Hopefully I'll have some players for you, though, soon, Mitch. But no, I appreciate it, Coach. And, Schoolhouse Prep, I'm really, really thankful to them for giving me this opportunity. The owner, Louis DeVillers, and Coach G, who is the head of Triple Threat Prep, which is attached to our Schoolhouse Prep, the post-grad academy that we have attached. He's the AD at the high school. So I just want to say thank you, Coach G, for the opportunity to come back to Miami and really chase a state championship with you like we did in the old days in high school.
And you played for Coach G, is that
yes,
correct?
I played for Coach G at LaSalle High School, and for Eric McNally, the guy I just worked for at Division III at Eastern University.
Okay. All right, well, let's slow down a little bit there. We got to run time. You always go real fast.
That's my MO, Coach.
He got a motor to him, so there's no doubt about that piece on it. Tell us about your Division III experience in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the university, and what y'all accomplished and how you went there. And you spent the last 2 years there, right?
Yes, sir. So after I left you, which was the greatest experience of my life.
You're hell of a value. Let me say this right here. I've been around a lot of them, Bilal Badley and Snoop Johnson, all them. But just looking at one and putting it on paper and giving a level, you're pretty damn good, especially for a June bug.
I appreciate it, Coach. I appreciate it. But, getting a chance to work for you really got me really able to open my eyes and kind of examine levels. And getting the chance to work in Division III is a blessing. Having played in Division III, it's the same conference I played in.
Oh, so really? I didn't know that.
I had experience, within the league and the coaches. I really enjoyed the level. Coming from Texas, everyone doesn't really understand the level of Division III. And up in the Northeast, Division III is something that's really celebrated.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Division II and Division III don't get nearly their just due of what level it is. And I think so many kids are deprived, is the word I'm looking for, of an opportunity because they're all chasing Division I because they think Division I is the only way that you can be successful.
Yes, sir.
And they look at Division II as some kind of a downgrade, or Division III as some type of a downgrade of college basketball. But when you look in the grand scheme of things, how many kids really play college basketball? So why do I say the same thing about junior college? They want to look at junior college in a negative way. And I think so many kids don't get the right opportunity because they don't view the big grand picture of being a student athlete and what it's like to have the opportunity to be a student athlete like yourself.
Absolutely.
That's the whole deal. I mean, and in all your days of sleeping on the futon in my office and and staying there with us. I mean, the amount of commitment and discipline. I remember back in 2014, we were working an event, and you stayed up all night long. And just as the sun was about to come up, he said, "Coach, catch your nap. I'm going to run the Kinko's, and I'll have this ready for you when we get back, when we get ready to get started." I knew then you could make it, boy.
Those are good times.
There's no doubt.
Those are good times.
I don't know how good they were, but they were tough times.
You always appreciate the people you're in the trenches with.
We were definitely in the trenches.
Absolutely. But Coach, just last thing I want to say is, with that is,
You
one thing
got
taught
just
me
a
is
few more minutes.
good players come at all levels.
Good players come
and
at all
that's,
levels.
And that's something you taught me, and that's something I really took with me into the Division III land is the landscape of today's grassroots world is kids are so caught up in the offer, chasing the D1, the interest, the tweets, I just received an offer from,
all the social media pumping, right?
Exactly. They don't appreciate what it's like when someone really appreciates them. And what I tried to, when I was at Division III, my recruiting strategy is go where you're wanted.
Yeah.
Go where somewhere that wants to grow and develop around you and have you grow and develop with them and be a kind of program guy that could be someone to change where they're at and not just someone to go fit in.
And what all did y'all get accomplished? And you were there for 2 years, and the name of the university there?
Yeah, we were at I was at Eastern University. We're located right next to Villanova, who's in the Final Four.
They're downstairs having a Villanova celebration party
exactly.
downstairs.
I saw the fight song.
Oh, yeah, they're singing the fight song when you're coming up. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. So we're about a mile and a half from Villanova. And over the past 2 years, we were able to accomplish a 21-7 conference record, which is best in school history over a 2-year period and best single season record at 11-3 last year. We've been fortunate to have a few very talented players. We've had 4 first-team all-conference players over the last 2 years. One of them was a Division III All-American honorable mention last year, Shaquan Turk. And we've been blessed to have Victor Pena, who plays on the Dominican national team, anchor our team last year and this year as a sophomore and junior making first team. I wish I was coming back to them. I miss them. I love them. It was a great opportunity to work there. They are not graduating much, so they'll be back and better than ever next year. So I'm looking forward to following them and making sure they're, continuing on the path of success that we tried to create over the last 2 years.
Well, y'all listening to head coach. I never watched it. I know if I'm going to live to see this one. Head coach Colin Campbell, right there, and he's here joining us right here down at the Final Four. This is what, your second or third Final Four?
Coming on my fourth.
Fourth one. Okay.
You know what? Fourth or fifth.
Okay. He's been hanging out. I first met this guy on the golf course. They hit the ball a long ways. Now, we don't know where it's going to be, but it's a long way.
It's down there.
He's the guy that you want to have on your scramble team when you're in the middle of one of those charity tournaments. You let him do all the driving, and then we'll hit it up on the green and put it in. But he's going to get you way down there where you use the pitching wedge and putter. You take a pitching wedge and putter when you take this man with you.
He's talking about the one day I hit the ball well, everybody. Trust me.
Hey, that's all I know. Hey, like my man Snoop Johnson always say, you got to trust your eyes. That's all I saw. That's all I know.
That was a great day. I think it was the birth of the sports shows then. We had Mr. Hatter out there that day. We had Chris Walker out there that day.
Yep,
and it was you and myself. I remember that day like it was yesterday, Coach.
Yep. And little did I know that probably within 2 months or 60 days from that you would be in and we would be working together. You'd be covering Houston. You'd be sleeping at the house there in Dallas. And, it's been a tremendous run, man. I'm extremely proud of you and everywhere you're going now. I want you to throw another piece. You tell me, you steer me away from this if I'm not supposed to be talking about this, with the whole Hoop MIA piece.
Yeah, so
tell us about Hoop MIA.
I'm lucky enough that after I worked for you, Mr. Branch, I got to go home back to Miami, where I'm from, originally my hometown, and I got to create something kind of similar to what Mr. Branch does here in Texas with his Texas boys basketball. It's
a little bit sexier than ours, though.
I don't think that's true.
Because you got the palm trees and a bunch of colors and stuff with y'all stuff.
Sports show, man. We're slacking over there. But we've been able to create a scouting service and an event management company that has enabled us to kind of generate some of the highly talented players Florida has to offer and showcase them to, college coaches, junior college coaches in the post-grad world. This year we're taking a new angle and adding a video scouting service where we film and live stream games and have access so coaches can just watch live streams instead of some regular evaluations.
So you get ready to go do your NCAA certification for your scouting service. Now you got to check the box of video.
Yes,
and you know some more stuff going to come with that.
Yes, sir.
You got to send some samples in and do this and do that and approval.
Absolutely.
That's one of the ones. I hope if Honey hears you too much of that right there, the next stream we'll be down. Hey, I'm going to let them have that one right there. That's not my part.
I hear you.
I take 10% for the, and I get out of the way.
Finder's fees.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole deal. We really been working at it, and we really grew off the example and precedent you set for us, and learned how to evaluate and really do a good job of really giving opportunities to kids where they deserve them, and trying to get in and create exposure opportunities for kids, not just who are extremely talented, but finding opportunities for kids who might have gone unnoticed or maybe in the back gym. So what we try to do is kind of create opportunities and help kids, not just basketball players. We're really trying to take a step in the community and kind of just help the lives of all kids from South Florida who are trying to create and better
A
themselves.
lot of talent in South Florida. A lot of talent. You guys are going to have a team that's coming up, not you because you don't coach grassroots basketball, but some of your people down there in Florida.
Yes,
that's going to be coming up. And what are the name of those teams?
The team that's playing in the Lonestar Challenge, I believe, is the Miami City Ballers.
Okay.
Miami City Ballers is an organization that's been around for about 20 years, and they're putting an unsigned senior group that should be extremely talented. So, coaches, if you have a chance to come by Mr. Branch's deal, the Lonestar Challenge, be sure to see Miami City Ballers. They should have a few players for
And what's the other group that used to come up?
Triple Threat.
Triple Threat,
which is part of the people I work with. Coach G, the AD at Schoolhouse Prep, has actually started his own postgraduate school called Triple Threat Prep.
Okay.
So we're lucky enough to have postgrad partnered with our high school, and allows us to have some competitive practices and sometimes be able to practice together with those guys. And,
Okay.
it kind of creates a different competitive environment, which is kind of awesome. I'm excited for
All
it.
right. No, sounds good, man. We were winding down right here, man. As my man Snoop Johnson likes to say, actually we're going past the top of the hour. I'm going to be checking out the next voice you're going to be hearing is going to be Snoop Johnson with the Lonestar Sports Network. It's going to be coming in and visiting. We're going to move off and go into a little bit of a political angle on. We're going to be having Peter Sweatham with Academic Recruits, also known as the politician from Houston. But today's show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. This particular segment is brought to you by Fast Recruit, and this particular segment is brought to you by Fast Scout 2. Go take a look at FastSmallSports.com and see what Fast Scout 2 is doing through the vehicle technology with college basketball, making players be more prepared for the process and being able to get the coaching that they need and the understanding and preparation for game time. And we're so glad to have you on the show.
Coach,
congratulations,
thank you for
Head Coach
having me.
Colin Campbell.
I appreciate it.
All
Thanks for having me,
We'll be
Coach.
back in 180 seconds with more Lone Star Sports Show. Holla back at you.
back here at the Lonestar Sports Show. I got my main man, Peter Sweaterham, right here with Peter Sweaterham. Show is sharp tonight, isn't he?
Don't hate the player.
Hey.
Don't hate the player.
Now, hey, Pete, now you a Dallas. I'm always say Dallas first. You're a Dallas / Houston legend right now. You are a legend. When people that's talking about you and you're not there, you're a legend. Okay.
I'm not famous. I'm infamous.
I didn't say famous. I
Infamous.
didn't say you was famous. I said you was a legend. I didn't say that.
You are too, by the way.
You putting words.
You
in
are
my
too,
mouth.
by the way.
Yeah. I said you famous. I mean, you said you famous. You see, you got me tripping. But I got my main man, Peter Sweatham, right here. And me and Pete goes back. We go back so far. And I'm so proud of where Pete is right now because,
Vice versa.
you know, I mean, he's doing his thing. You know, household name. When people say Peter Sweatham, they know. You know, and that just comes from the grind.
I appreciate that, and that's also true for you. You're like Prince and
Yeah.
Madonna. It's
We
only one
grind.
name.
We
It's
grind.
only-
We grinders, dog.
You don't even need to say your last name.
We
If you
grinders.
say Pete, they might say Pete who.
That's right.
If they say Snoop, everybody knows.
That's right. We grinders, but more than anything, Pete, you've always kept it real. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, I appreciate all the kind things that you've always said about me when I'm in front of you and with other people because, you know, when I meet certain people, they come up and say, man, Peter Sweatham really says good things about you. And I'm telling you right now, I appreciate that, my brother.
I appreciate you too.
You know,
I tell people all the time that in DISD, you know, we try to beat each other's brains out.
oh yeah.
But people don't know this. If Skyline lost in the playoffs and Kimball won, who did the advanced scouting for Kimball?
Hey,
Skyline.
you right.
And vice versa.
You always,
Because we have love for each other,
That's right.
even though didn't necessarily love each other during that 32-minute period.
That's competition,
We was trying
man.
to kill one another, but when
That's
it was
competition.
over, it was all love. It was DISD. We're trying to help a bunch of kids nobody else cared about. and
That's competition.
It's a special time.
That's competition.
It's a special
That's all it is. I mean, if we didn't go hard and compete hard like that, how could we expect that from the kids?
Amen. Agreed.
Think about it. Our kids would go compete and try to kill each other on the floor, and then that night they hanging out.
And back then in DISD, maybe it's still true now. I don't live in Dallas anymore, so I know less about it than I used to. But back then, there was pros on the floor every night.
I tell people all the time when I was coaching, I talk to people every time they tell me how good the Kimball South Oak Cliff rivalries were good at the early part of it. But the latter part, when I started winning those championships in a row, none of that could compete with where it was when you guys was at Skyline. Just think about it. Kimball, look at our roster. Skyline, look at your roster. Brian Adams, look at that roster.
Stacked.
Carter.
They couldn't even make the playoffs.
Couldn't make the playoffs.
It was loaded.
See, I ain't even said that. I haven't even said couldn't even make the playoffs. That's it right there. I mean, just think about it. Skyline, you guys had C.J. Miles on the team.
George Siggers.
I'm just naming the pros right now.
Yeah.
I'm naming the pros.
George still playing.
Over at our place we had.
George still playing.
Is he really?
Yep.
Over at our place you had Gerald Sasser, guys like that.
And AC Law.
You know, AC Law came up after. When AC came through, we wasn't playing in that league. That was a bad league right there now. When AC came in, it was us, Carter, and South Oak Cliff, which was good. It was still good.
But his sophomore year, we were in the same conference together. When AC was a sophomore, you were still in with Skyline.
That's right. We were. We were. You
When he was
absolutely,
the puppet.
No,
When he
you're
was a
right.
puppet.
You're absolutely right. You're right. Your memory, you locked in. You're right. No, you're right about that. But just think about how good our league was, where Carter always had a hard time beating Brian Adams with Kenyon Martin. We would always beat him. At Kimball, we always beat Brian Adams. But you always looked up, they always beat Carter.
It's crazy. It's really
Y'all
crazy when you
always
think
beat-
about
y'all would
like,
be-
the history that, like Kenyon Martin probably literally never made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that man made $100 million playing basketball,
Yeah.
but wasn't good enough to make the playoffs in DISD.
At DISD. LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, now Kenyon made the playoffs. Remember, he went to SMU and went there. He made
did
the
Kenyon
playoffs.
make it when he-
Yeah, they made it. They made it. I'm trying to think who didn't make it that year, but they made the playoffs in one year. But then you looked up and you had guys like LaMarcus Aldridge and his supporting class with Don Sloan and all those guys like that. They
Never made it to
They
Austin.
never made it out of regions.
Never made it to Austin.
Never made it out of high
And not just with talent, but with a hell of a coach, too.
With a coach.
A,
That's what I'm talking-
legend on the sidelines.
Coach,
That's how hard it was.
Coach, you talking about a guy that put
That's how hard it
everything.
was.
I mean, but that's what you had in that district. You had guys that put everything. That's the thing I watched and learned from those guys, that when I got a chance to be the head coach, these guys, the reason their teams were competitive, they put everything. You know, they didn't take nights off, you know, where some guys didn't feel like they had to go scout and stuff like that. These guys was in there. Now, I never was a big guy to really go scout. I call it going to watch. I need the eye test. You know, I couldn't do both. I can't write and watch. I got to watch the game, and I take them numbers in my head, all I needed was the numbers. I write the numbers down, who the starters, but I could never write down, diagram a play. I put it all in my head. Then when I leave, I can go diagram all the plays. That was my thing. I was almost like Biggie and Tupac. You know how Biggie and Tupac don't never write their lyrics?
Jay-Z don't either.
Jay-Z, they don't write their lyrics. You can't do it. I'm saying because you feel like you're going to miss something. If I put my head down to write something, I always feel like I'm going to miss something. So when I watch it, I'm talking about a whole motion offense. I can watch a motion offense and lock it in and go back and write it down.
And when I was coaching high school, I wanted to know what type of defense they played, but you don't need to write that down. You're going to watch that and figure it out.
Yeah.
The two things I wrote down is who can shoot the basketball and who can only dribble one way. Those were the two things I did write down.
That's big.
You know, because in high school ball, it's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, in college basketball, that's a big deal. In pro basketball, that's a big deal.
Not as big. It
big
gets
deal.
less of a deal as you go up.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. You watch the game, you'd be surprised.
So talk about weekend. The reality is that there are 3 special players ever that could only go one way off the dribble.
Okay.
And that's Julius Erving, Clyde Drexler, and Manu Ginobili. So the
and
NBA.
No, I'm gonna add one more.
Who?
Julius, you said
Dr. J,
Clyde Drexler,
and Manu,
and Donald Sloan. Sloan, that's for you. That's for you, Sloan. But hey, you couldn't stop those guys from getting it done.
No.
And you walking in and say, we used to sit around there and we say, make him go to the left.
Easier said than done.
And guess what? He's gonna go get 27 and still went right. So you're right. I mean, those guys are just, you could talk about it just like we used to play against Carter with Andre Emmett, and we would think we had the perfect game plan set up, which we would have the perfect game plan set up. And I'm saying, if those guys kept Andre Emmett in the game, Andre Emmett will find a way to beat us offensive rebounding or whatever. He would find a way to impact that game late in the game.
I'm going to try to put you on the spot, and it's going to be a tough question to answer.
Okay.
If you had to go DISD starting 5, 1 point guard, 2 wings, 2 bigs.
Okay, if I had to go DISD.
Starting 5 of all time.
Starting 5 all time.
You go all the way back to Coach Ellis and the Roosevelt teams.
Okay.
You can stay in the modern era. That's a hard question, isn't it?
Okay. You said if I had to do that, now what are the positions I'm doing?
1 point guard, 2 wings, 2 bigs.
1 point guard, 2 wings, 2 bigs. 1 point guard, 2 wings, 2 bigs.
It's a hell of a question.
Okay.
I can't answer my own question. That's why it's not very fair.
I'm going, the one position I know I'm going Larry Johnson at the 4. I'm going LJ at the 4. Now I'm debating, I'm going back and forth. Do I want Chris Bosh or do I want LaMarcus Aldridge at the 5?
Were either one of those guys a better high school player than Ira Terrell?
Did who?
Were either one of those guys a better high school player than Ira Terrell?
At the 5 though. At the 5.
You'd be okay with Ira and LJ at the 4 and 5?
I would be okay with Ira at the 4. Yeah.
But LJ could have been a high school 5.
But these guys, these are 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", they can shoot it.
Dinosaurs.
So I got to go with one of those 2 at the 4 and the 5. And I'm going to tell you, by the time when I name these other guys, I'm going to come back to that position. But I'm definitely going LJ at the 4. I'm going...
Coach Mayo scratched the referee that fouled LJ out in that second-round playoff game for the rest of his career.
I know it now.
He never reffed another Skyline game ever again. Coach Mayo scratched this was one referee. It was that dude.
Coach Mayo line it up now. Coach Mayo can line it up. I'm trying to think, at the point guard position, in the DISD, probably the best one that I'm going to take I'm gonna tell you, man.
AC Law was special.
AC Law was really good.
I know you just want to pick your own guys.
No, I love it. No, I'm saying the one thing about AC became a point guard. He played the point guard position, but AC was a two in his mindset. You know, I felt like he had the natural instincts to be a point. And his dad and me, we argued about it ever since he was a freshman. I used to say, Big AC, he can play the two and go to college, but he can go to the pros at the point. He felt like put him at the point, X away his shooting, and that's the thing. When AC first came in, he was a shooter. He could spot up and shoot those threes. Them open threes, he could knock them down. You know,
Probably still can.
And that's what we did as a freshman. When he was a freshman, we used to play you guys and all that. That's what AC would shoot those threes. You know, that's all he did was catch and shoot. But his natural instincts was point guard. That was his natural instinct. But I'm gonna tell you now, I had a kid by the name of Juwan Evans decided the Clippers right now. I didn't have him. He wasn't at Kimmel but 2 years. I had him 1 year. I'm gonna tell you this, man. The NBA, I've said this over and over and over talking to people. Juwan Evans, in his third year, he's gonna be one of the top 8 point guards in the league. His third year.
He went undrafted, didn't he?
No. He was second round.
Okay,
Early second round. Hey, when we come back though, I got Peter Sweatham right here. We're gonna come back and I gotta talk to you about the Johnny Manziel situation. And I know we hit with the Final Four. We talking basketball. We gotta talk Johnny Manziel. With all these guys watching Johnny, we gotta say what's going on with Kaepernick. We gotta figure out what's going on with that, and only you can talk about it. Here at the Lonestar Sports Show, we at the Leapin Lizard. San Antonio, it's Thursday, it's NABC convention, it's Final Four weekend, Loyola. We have Loyola, Kansas. We have, who else?
Michigan.
Michigan.
And, Villanova.
And Villanova, right here. See where I got Peter Sweatham? We'll be back in 120 seconds. Hey, we back here at the Lone Star Sports Show. This next segment is sponsored by Fast Model Sports. Fast Model Sports coming out of Chicago, Illinois. My main man Ross Comerford making a lot of this this possible that we're doing right now as far as being out here in San Antonio. This is our first road show. You know, we're happy to be here. We always at the Final Four, but to produce our show down here in San Antonio at the Leapin Lizard tonight. My man Ani the Prince is handling it. Lady Life is back in Dallas. Ani Prince is on the road with us. Alan Branch with the first hour did a wonderful job. But I'm back here with my main man, Peter Sweathand. Pete, before we left, I know we was talking about top 5 ever, and I'm gonna give you that before I leave. That's something that you got to run through my brain. You can't. It's so many.
Oh.
Just like you just brought up C.J. Miles. I mean,
Too many.
You know, it's so many that every time we pause and think about it, we're gonna think of something. You know, but one of the things that you and I we talk about, and I know you watched a couple of the shows, and we talked about was a lot of the race relation things. Okay, my thing is the Johnny Manziel thing lately. You know, I think that a lot of the guys that's doing a lot of these shows, they really making too big of a deal out of that, you know, and comparing that. And I don't think that's something that you compare. I don't know if they're comparing it, but I don't think it's right, really, to bring that up, like, because you got 2 men trying to get a job. You see what I'm saying? You got 2 men trying to get a job, and you're kind of leveraging off of it. You know, I don't think you can leverage it. I think what's going to end up happening is that the NFL this summer, the NFL is going to get to a point to where those guys are going to feel like, okay, they understand that part of what's hurting them. They try to make it out to be that the kneeling down is killing their economy with all the sponsors and things like that. But they're not looking from it from the other side, saying maybe we killing our viewers because you have a lot of people of color that have a problem with how we're doing Colin Kaepernick. You see what I'm saying? You know, so publicly they trying to blame that situation on the viewers. But in their mind, they behind closed doors, they're looking at the whole picture. So you got to know that they're looking at maybe it's because of how we're handling this situation. And I think they're gonna free Cap this year. Before camp, somebody gonna pick him up. You know what I'm saying?
You know the reason
I think they're gonna bring. I think it's gonna be a splash for the NFL, and I think they're not gonna let it happen before the draft. They're not gonna let that. They're not gonna let the Kaepernick issue overshadow the draft with the new players and all. But after that draft, be prepared in May. Be prepared for Colin Kaepernick in May to get picked up in a city like Baltimore. They thought about picking him up before he had the crazy antics. That was his girlfriend. His girlfriend had the crazy antics with the what's the Jamie Foxx movie? They had what was the Jamie Foxx movie? What was the Jamie Foxx movie with the plant on the plantation and all that?
Oh, the Django Unchained.
Django. They made the Django Unchained. His girlfriend made the Django with Ray Lewis and the owner. She made the comments about that. I
do remember that.
Yeah, that's back when they were saying they were thinking that Baltimore might pick up Colin Kaepernick, which they wasn't gonna pick him up. They wasn't gonna pick him up.
Can I share with you the reason that he hasn't been picked up?
Tell me, yeah.
Because every time a team considers it,
okay,
the National Police Officer Union has their people work a phone bank, posing as season ticket holders.
Okay.
And so 100 police officer union reps call the ticket office and says, "We're canceling our tickets. We're not doing nothing. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you hire side cabinet to spit in our face and blah, 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 blah."
Okay.
And just 100 phone calls from 100 different people can freak out the business side of the organization. Yeah. It's the National Police Officer Union doing this. They're crushing the phone bank. And you see this stuff in politics more than in business, where people work a phone bank, where it's a small group of dedicated people that make it seem like it's a massive blowback, when in fact it's not. I'm telling you, police, because this is what happens, is someone says we might sign Kaepernick, and then their switchboard is annihilated, and they think it's from their fan base, but it's not. It's from the National Police Officer Unions. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. People don't get that.
The thing I think about that, I think that's another hoax from the owners. You know, football. These people like football. I mean, they like football. I just can't see football fans. I can't see football fans not watching football because of these situations. See, maybe if we go back, maybe if we go back and look at this. Let me tell you this. If NFL fans don't stop watching football after Ray Rice and that kind of stuff like that, you can't tell me this right here is getting that. You see what I'm saying? You know, those kind of situations are the situations that cause people to not follow football. You know, watching the Ray Rice video. You see what I'm saying? Ray Rice, I don't have a problem with Ray Rice not being in the NFL right now after watching the video. Because, I do believe in second chances, but maybe it's because I have a mother, a sister, a wife, a daughter that I don't ever believe I can get over watching somebody doing that to my daughter, my sister. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can't get by that. So with Ray Rice, something totally different. My thing is that with Colin Kaepernick came out and told you what he was protesting. Not once did anybody ever say that. Nationally on the media, they always said what he was doing versus the military. They turned him into the bad guy themselves. That's why I believe that what you're just saying about the guys posing as officers and this, that, and that.
No, they are officers. They're posing as fans.
Posing as fans, yeah. But these, I still believe this kind of stuff is still coming from owners and stuff like that, trying to keep giving them reasons.
It's both.
Why?
I'm telling you, police officers unions are engaged in aggressive anti-Kaepernick phone banking. I'm telling you, that's not.
I'm here. I'm here.
Now, I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's also a fact that there are many owners who feel a certain kind of way about Cap.
Yeah.
Based on blatant racism.
I got you.
In addition to that, there's a phone bank effort from the National Police Officers Union.
I just don't see. I just don't see how you can, as a human being, how can you have a problem with Colin Kaepernick? That's my only thing. I'm sitting there saying, here's a guy, and he's basically told you the only thing he's had a problem with. The only thing he's had a problem with are police officers and their abuse for people of color and their disrespect. That's the main thing, the disrespect. The killings. Okay, you don't have the killings. That's not over and over and over. Like it's not as many as you think, as people make it out to be. But the disrespect is every day. You see what I'm saying?
DWB.
That's every day.
All of that.
That's every day. So I'm saying, my thing on that is that, for them to twist that whole scenario and make it into the military, and you had military guys that came out and said, we don't have a problem with that because of what he told us initially off the jump. First time he went back and said, this is what it was about.
And his teammate with military service said, I think sitting in a sort of slouched position is disrespectful.
Okay.
Maybe you should kneel. And Cap thought about it and said, I can see that.
Sitting that's right. He was sitting at first. You're right. I
can see that perspective.
You're right. He was sitting down at first, and then he went to kneeling after the teammate. You're absolutely right.
So Cap has been really reasonable about it. I'll tell you the most telling moment to me in this whole thing is when Jerry Jones and the whole Dallas Cowboys at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium, they went out together before the anthem. National anthem was not playing. There was not American flag in place. And they went and knelt together as a team to say that police brutality is wrong, the fact that it's often race-based is wrong, the fact that nothing's ever done to discipline the perpetrators is wrong, and there was not a flag to be seen, not a national anthem playing, and 70% of the stadium booed their faces off. And what that told you, beyond any shadow of a doubt, is virtually 100% of the people who are against Kaepernick are white racists.
That's what that.
It's about racism, not about the flag, not about the military. As you alluded to, the Veterans for Kaepernick hashtag was so powerful.
We're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna hold you one more segment. I need you one more segment. I know we got one left, and you're gonna close it with me. But hey, we at the Lonestar Sports Show. The second hour of the show. I got my main man Peter Sweatham with me, helping me with this second hour. We're gonna go the whole hour, and when we come back, we're gonna wrap it up with Colin Kaepernick. We're gonna talk about Colin Kaepernick and his situation. That's how we're gonna close up here. I know it's the Final Four. I know we're in San Antonio, the Alamo, but we're gonna let you remember Kaepernick when we leave here tonight. Me and Peter Sweatham, Lonestar Sports Show, Lonestar Sports Network, back in 120 seconds.
Moment.
Hey, we back here at the We back here at the Lonestar Sports Show. This next segment is sponsored by Fast Model Recruit. Right here, we in San Antonio, Texas, right off the Riverwalk at the Leapin Lizard.
Right here, Coach.
Coach, Leapin Lizard been popping, Coach. I mean, I had to come back in this second hour. You got a chance to kind of spend some time with your company in here right now, Coach. That first hour was pumping. I was
Coach, you had to do all the PR work, Coach. I had to work.
It's some coaches ready to jump. They ready to get off the hook right now.
No, that's the whole deal. They got a Villanova party going on downstairs, huh?
Yeah, the Villanova party. I didn't get a chance to go down there.
I heard them down there singing the rah-rah, the fight song, Coach. They get started up there. They feel pretty good about it, Coach.
Hey, but I want to. Yeah, I want to hear
about you and Peter Sweatham.
Yeah, I want to send a big shout out to all the guys that came out to support. Really, this is the first day. You know, because yesterday college coaches were still on the road, so today is the first day. You know, some guys came in last night, but really want to send a big shout out to all the guys from a lot of these universities that came by. They didn't have to come by. They came by, sit around and support Texas boys basketball with Allen Branch. Sit around, spend some time with Snoop and Ani and all of us in here today. And Tony Stubblefield birthday weekend and everything. The ladies did a good job with that. Guys here at the Leapin Lizard, you know, for kicking off the host. We'll be here next couple of days. You know, but,
next couple of days. We got a couple more events. We got a think tank going on.
Yeah.
We'll be tomorrow morning. We'll be over at a coaching clinic roundtable at Veteran Memorial High School, I believe it is.
Now we're about to get on up because they say Veteran Memorial is on up north, Coach. It's on up there.
I don't think we're gonna go to bed, Coach.
Okay.
We got to go across there. We got 3 more spots to hit tonight, Coach. We got to get a good meal in us. We got a lot of work to do, Coach.
Okay.
Hey, I know you and Peter Sweatham was on here with some strong political angles going on basketball Thursday.
Well, you know me and Pete, we got to always chop it up. We got to get a little controversial. I mean, my thing, every time we get a chance, it's been a while. I mean, you know, we kicked this show off talking about Kaepernick when we first started Lonestar Sports Show.
Yep.
That's how long we been talking.
That's how long we were talking.
And Pete educated me on some different things. And I always go back to one thing, Coach. I always say it's still the problem. The major problem is still that as much as talk radio, talk TV, Colin Kaepernick and all of his support system, as much as everybody still talk about Colin Kaepernick, his reasoning for his protest, not one owner has ever still said anything about that. They still make it about the military.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to make it about their money, Coach.
That's the problem.
Because this is like one of our sponsors right here. He came on, you know, and talk about it.
I got a chance to meet him over there.
Yeah. High-level guys, man. Harlem Hotels, one of the development investment based out of there, you know. And, you know, one of the interesting things, man, out of all the Hampton Inns in the United States of America, they were voted as a minority. They're the only African-American owned black Hampton Inn is owned by Harlem Hotels.
I wonder if that's Brandon Hampton. B. Hamp. I wonder if the Hampton people. I wonder if that's his people.
No, I don't think those people don't look like him, Coach.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe his ancestors or something.
Yeah, could be something. You never can tell, man. It's a small world.
Hampton Inn, yeah.
B. Hamp. B. Hamp, he made it on the show.
B. Hamp might be the heir. He might be the heir.
Don't tell B. Hamp that.
Can you imagine that? B. Hamp what if B. Hamp became the heir of Hampton Inn?
We'd be in trouble, Coach.
Just think about the B. Hamp we know right now.
We'd be in trouble, Coach.
If he took over as the CEO, COO, or whatever.
But you know, and we winding down in this last segment. One of the things that I just love to see and love to be involved with, man, is that I like to see the young coaches, Coach.
Oh, we talk about
There's a lot of young guys here, Coach. A lot of young guys. We walking around. You know, even our own Prince, the Honey Money, his first Final Four, man. He's looking around, checking it all out, and getting it all in. And man, for Colin Campbell to come up here, you know, 4 or 5 Final Fours, been hanging out with us now. He's a head coach.
He's a head coach, man.
You know, had a chance to talk to some more people on sports resource tip, man. Guys trying to figure it out. It's a very tough industry, a tough nut to crack. But these young guys, they come in with headstrong, tough, a lot of vinegar, as the old folks
I just got
say.
a problem. I mean, that's the one thing about it, Coach. I mean, myself. You know, I'm not as young as some of these guys no more. I'm still a young guy, but my thing is, I just have a problem when I see guys come through and guys that have made it and made success of themselves. You know, they have to want to reach down there and show younger guys the right way. You know, and the right way has nothing to do with time.
No.
See, everybody keep talking about time. And with your dues and how long it took them. My thing is when these guys that come with this next era don't have to go as long as y'all had to go. Coach, this is what I'm saying, Coach. If they don't have to go as long as y'all, that means progress.
Right. But you know what challenges that, Coach? And you have a valid point.
That means
You know,
progress. That means progress.
You talked about that many times, and I never tried to say that you were wrong.
Right.
But one thing that you have to understand about the grand scheme of all that is, Coach, is that you got to understand the culture of basketball and the nature of how things operate, how things function.
Right.
It's a competitive
Right.
deal. Do you remember when you were a coach, you were a head coach, and you were trying to obtain scouts or get tape on a potential opponent?
Right.
Sometimes it wasn't the easiest thing to get.
No, it wasn't easy. That's right.
People didn't want to hand it over.
They didn't want to hand it over.
Well, I think what happens in a both conscious and subliminal way to Snoop, what happens in those situations is that guys have a certain sense of fear of competition. I'm not going to give them the formula to success.
Right.
And that comes across both consciously and sometimes subliminally, subconsciously. That's the way they go about because they try to protect their opportunity because
They trying to. That's the word. Protecting opportunity. See, this is the thing. If Alan Branch has been coaching college basketball for the last 18 to 20 years, and you got Snoop Johnson coming in, new to the game. I know about him, and he can really get after it or whatever.
we got like Colin Campbell is just sitting in your seat.
What some of these guys are looking at it is saying, as long as you can't look around and find 8 to 10 more Alan Branches, Alan Branch value is just that much higher.
Right.
You got to pay me. If I ain't gonna be a head, 'cause that's almost like what they're saying. If you're not gonna give me a head job, you're gonna pay me like a head coach.
Right. Yep.
My value is.
Well, and we don't have enough time to go into it, but you definitely are on the right.
We'll be back Tuesday.
Right situation.
Coming on tomorrow.
Yep, we're coming on tomorrow. We'll talk about, but it's a legitimate perspective. Is the point, and a lot of the things that we're talking about don't even necessarily happen in a conscious kind of a way.
That's right.
We talk about the crab in the bucket mentality and the black African American community.
Black African American.
I'm gonna make I cover all the bases, Coach.
Yeah, you did.
Go all the bases.
No, you did.
I'm not a big fan of the word Negro, so I just
black
use
community,
it. Black community.
Yeah,
Right?
black community.
Black community. That's politically vague.
That locks it all in. When you say the black community, that lets you know the African American.
Here we go. Black folks. Yeah.
The black community. Or you can just say the African American community.
I'm pro black community.
I got you.
But the point we talk about, it's the same thing is that there's just a fear of endangering their own comfort zone, competition or whatever.
Competition.
Yeah, competition. Guys that, like I allude to the culture that's in basketball of not wanting to necessarily share scouts. The same reason that guys form a huddle. Okay. They call a timeout to protect what they have inside of it. Okay. A lot of things are symbolic to have really realistic transition into the way that we behave and treat each other and act in the situation.
Okay.
But what I think is, and kind of goes back to what Barry Davis always says, is that we've got to expand our horizons. Mm-hmm. And when I say expand our horizons, we got to stop thinking so shallow about one particular situation because we're talking about $1 trillion industry, Coach. There's so opportunity because I've had opportunities to go into college coaching.
What do you and I always talk about when we talk about having certain guys in certain positions? Mm-hmm. Coach, we ought to be looking at it like the more we can get in this business, the more we got in this business. Now they got experience. We got more of them in this business.
Right. And there's a fear of that. That's moving out of a comfort zone. I think that has so much to give. You talk about it. Everybody goes through this business when they're hot with players. There was a time when I was hot in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I had guys at high major levels say, you ever thought about taking the job?
Yeah.
But I never saw that because it always goes back to my initial mission statement of coming into the business as a grassroots summer coach is that I wanted to help. Uh-huh. And sometimes my frustration in this business is my inability to help.
Right.
Because there's nothing more that brings me more satisfaction and fulfillment.
Tony Bifford coming in, and is that Danny, man? Was that Danny?
I don't know.
Danny's taller than
Danny
Bifford.
ducker in the deal.
Bifford got that little sports coat on.
Oh, he don't have a sports coat on, Coach.
We wrapping up around it.
Yeah, we were wrapping it all up around there.
We wrapping up
Tony
over
Bifford, he'll come in about 3 minutes before we get ready to shut the process down.
Texas boys basketball.
Yeah.
Appreciation party, but
Bifford got to show his appreciation, Coach. He climbed appreciation, Coach. If you know like I know, he need to be showing his appreciation, coach. His sports resources.
Well, you had his boss on there.
Yeah, I had his boss on there.
Yeah,
Boss was on time, wasn't it? Boss was for the first segment.
He got that blazer on.
Hey, we got a blazer, coach. That was Cleveland, that coach. That was Hobbs, New Mexico, son. And you're going up there with the people.
With
Hobbs, New Mexico. You go up there with the people and everything, and you make sure you keep yourself presentable.
Oh, that's right.
He
I don't know how I know Danny, man.
Yeah, no, he got a favor there.
He's not tall enough to be Danny.
No, that guy ain't tall. He's been here for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's starting to wind down here. But we got 2 or 3 more parties. We're going out to the pump party. We got to go down to smoke. We're going down to the Under Armour hangout.
You got to say we're going down to the.
Where are we going?
We're going to the smoke party, but we got to talk about who's hosting the party.
Yeah.
We got Lupe
Nunez,
Ryan Silver.
Ryan Silver, California group.
That's Mauro.
Under Armour.
That's Mauro in it.
That's Mauro. You know, Mauro been working somewhere, coach. Mauro had about 2 or 3 jobs in about 2 days, coach.
Look at the shirt. Mauro got to South Alabama. Mauro, remember that leaver with another shirt on.
Coach,
Sunday.
Coach, I think he might be still just wearing that shirt. I'm not sure if that's where he's working or not.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about that on the sidebar.
We got Mario coming.
Mario, that's the main man right there. That's
South Alabama's in the building. LSU.
Hardest man working man in basketball right there. There he is. That poor lady right there, she has no idea what she's doing for this.
Hey, we're going to lie to him.
You hang on to him, baby. He's going to make a whole lot of money one of these days.
Make a whole lot of money. We're going to line him up in here. We still got about another 48 hours in the city.
Oh, man. We got
Lonestar Sports Show.
Yeah, we getting it in. We got the think tank tomorrow evening with Chris Walker. We're bringing in college coaches, talking about careers and where things are going and the situations that we're
got that blaze on, though.
Oh, yeah, get it blaze. He's going to always do that. Tony Benford, House, New Mexico. There he is right there, folks. Old point guard at Texas Tech. He's pretty proud. He's been happy to see his Texas Tech people over here on the show earlier.
He's going to keep his blazers. He going to keep his blazers right, coach.
He's going to keep his blazers right.
Jimmy Tubbs and Paul Graham.
Well, we winding down here at the Lonestar Sports Show. All things sports, all things Texas right here.
Those guys be proud of him right now with his blazers on.
They feel good about it right now, coach. They feel real good about it, man.
How you feeling day one, coach? You feel pretty good down here?
Feel good in day one, man. It's been a good feel.
Weather's been good.
Food has been good.
You know, people around here.
Great dinner last night.
Oh,
man.
my Lord.
Yeah.
Look at there go your boy.
That's the whole deal. There he is. Okay, white shirt on, coach. You know somebody white shirt.
No, he's talking about your boy down there, Lee Collins.
Oh, yeah. Mark's going to get it in, too, boy. Yeah.
Watch that shirt he got on.
Oh, yeah. He's going to come in real smooth. Like, we got the last group of Omar Lowry, Butler University, coach.
No.
Yeah, Omar Butler, coach.
Is he going to Butler?
He at Butler. He been at Butler. I saw Omar.
No, not that. No, that ain't Omar right there.
That's Omar with the phone up to his ear right there, coach.
Oh, Omar. I didn't see Omar down there. Okay, that's on the other side. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were calling it.
The man right here.
It's the tail end of the process.
Marcus. And Marcus.
Yeah, it's Marcus and Lee.
Marcus.
Yeah, Lee. Yeah, Marcus and Lee.
Look at Bridges, coach.
Yeah, Bridges right. Oh, yeah, look at Dave Edwards. Come on to break Dave Edwards.
You don't never know where Dave was.
Yeah, Dave tell where all
Look at
Dave.
his shirt, coach. Look at his shirt.
Him and a man over in on that word.
You don't know if he's bleeding. Bakersfield or where?
Yeah, he go grab something, put it on there.
They still New Mexico State.
New Mexico State. They went to the NCAA tournament this year,
He
coach.
got no burgundy shirt on.
They ain't got no burgundy shirt on, coach.
He on the road. He on the road. He Final Four. Where's Josh? Where you sending Josh this year? Sports resource.
Josh,
you got some stuff working.
You see, Josh got an interview now.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Josh got an interview now.
Hey, we'll talk about it in the afternoon show.
Everything starts with interviews. Josh got an interview, coach.
They go shoot it. Oh boy, here comes your
Mark
sports recesses. Sports resources showing up. They say they tired.
Boy, he got a wife with him now, boy. Coach have moved up. Boy. Coming from the NIT semifinals, coach.
Jackson's different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, one thing to say about Mark Shue is everywhere Mark Shue's been, they won and gone to the tournament, coach.
She ain't let them come back.
No, he ain't let them go back. Get too close to that big money, coach. You get up too close to that
Close
big money.
it out, coach.
Hey, we've been to roll out here. All things sports, all things Texas. Today's show is brought to you by FastMallSports.com, where Ross Comerford, CEO and founder of where basketball is being led into the 21st century through the vehicle of technology. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, almost called Lady Life's name out. She was here with us in spirit. Under the Prince. Running the whole process, cut his teeth on the real deal down here at the Final Four. Yeah. Be back tomorrow afternoon. Y'all just pay attention on social media.
They had a big dinner last night. They had a Ruth Chris last night, coach.
Oh, well, they're stepping on up in the big league, coach. They catch Basketball Thursday. We'll catch you.
Honey say, hey, Coach, I ain't had this like this. Honey, it's just not getting started.
We'll be back.
It's just not getting kicked
We'll be
off,
back
baby.
for some special editions tomorrow, the Think Tank. We got one special edition tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. We're going to be getting in all kinds of ways this weekend, right here in the Alamo City. Final Four, all things sports, all things Texas. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, and my man, the Prince, Unequal Money, give it to you like it is on the Lonestar Sports Show. We out.